Hi there. This video is to take you through the steps of how to do a cap table. Cap tables are crucial for planning fundraising rounds and determining the impact of new investments on existing shareholder ownership and assessing the company's valuation. The first step in doing cap tables is if you have a new business, and let's say you have two founders, they're each going to be 50% shareholders, and they each put in, say, $250,000 into the startup of the business. So that's a total of $500,000 they put into the business, and we suggest you always start with 100,000 shares to keep it simple. Therefore, the step one is you complete a form where you list the two founders, you list they each have 50,000 shares, you list the ownership as 50%, and you list that they each have put in $250,000 of cash. Now, the missing piece is what's the price per share. So what you do is you take the $500,000, you divide it by the number of shares, 100,000 shares. That means each share is worth $5. So that's the first part of setting up your cap table with two founders. Now let's say the business is growing, it needs more money. So you approach an angel investor, and the angel investor makes you an offer. They said they will value your company at $5 million, what they call pre-money valuation. And at that valuation, they will put in $2 million. So now our problem is to figure out how many shares to give the new angel investor and how much that will dilute the existing founders from their 50% ownership. So step one is you take the pre-money value of $5 million. You currently have 100,000 shares. So you divide the $5 million by the 100,000 shares, and now the value is $50 per share. Remember when we started, it was $5 a share. Now, when the angel puts in money, you're valuing the company at $50 a share. Then the next step is that this angel needs to know how many shares they're going to get. So the next step is you take the $2 million that the angel investor is going to give you, and you divide that by the $50 a share. That means you will now get 40,000 shares. So when you do a list of founder one still has 50,000 shares, founder two still has 50,000 shares, the angel will now have 40,000 shares. This means now that the business will now go from 100,000 shares to 140,000 shares. Then the next step is to figure out what's the ownership each founder has and what ownership does the angel have. Well, each founder now has 50,000 shares divided by 140,000 shares, not the old 100,000. So their value goes from 50% of the business down to 35.7% of the business. This also means that the angel investor who now gets 40,000 shares will have 40,000 divided by 140,000, which is 28.6% of the ownership. Step four then is now to work out the post-money value, and that is simply adding the $5 million pre-money to the $2 million of new money, and the value of the company is now $2 million plus $5 million, that's $7 million. So to recap, your new investor makes you an offer. They set the price and the amount they're prepared to invest. Two, there's lots of terms that go along with this, but we're just trying to do the cap calculation. Three, you run the cap table math using the steps I'd suggested, and you need to focus on the number of shares. You don't decrease the number of shares, you keep adding more shares. People get into trouble calculating cap tables if they take a shortcut. Don't take the shortcut. And hopefully you can now calculate your cap tables. Thank you.